Watch What You Say podcast. This is episode 7, and it's titled Speak Up, Not Shut Down. And wow, we have been away for a few weeks, but we are back. A lot is going on in the world, in the United States of America, and we are going to talk about it today. First things first, kind of catch up on what I've been doing. I think last time we spoke, it was in September, I think. We were in the middle of Mental Health Awareness Month, and which is certainly so key. And I was talking about that I was gearing up to start a new relationship with a new therapist, my fourth therapist, the fourth therapist in, I want to say 18 months. Well, I'm proud to report that my first few sessions with that therapist have been going extremely well. And I even have had some periods of enlightenment, some very good aha moments. And one of the aha moments being that I need to forgive the 4-year-old to 7-year-old me for not doing what I think that they should have done at that age. I put all the responsibility that I know as an adult onto that version of myself. And that version of myself didn't know any better and didn't know that certain things that happened were not supposed to happen. And so working with my therapist to be kinder to myself, to be kinder to that version of myself, and to kind of let the younger version of me know that the big version of me, that we can handle whatever trauma, grief situations, that we can handle it together. And what you just heard is my dog Snowball barking, but anyway, because he agrees. But that I'm able to carry the weight of the trauma. It's lighter now because me as an adult can handle the things that happen from the 4 to 7-year-old. So that has been very enlightening to myself, and I'm working on being kinder to myself. One of the biggest takeaways from therapy has been that you have to love yourself 100%. It's not just one thing to like yourself, because again, liking yourself, you can get a nice haircut, a nice shape up, you can wear nice clothes, you can have nice things. Hold on, I'm going to beat this. Oh, I'm not going to beat the dog. That would be, I don't want Peter or anybody coming after me. Okay, I think we're good now. So I was saying I have to love, I love my dog. I really do. I really do love my dog. But I'm going to have to really, really love myself again, not just liking myself. We can do all the exterior stuff. You can work out, go to the gym. You can smell good. You can have the nice cars, nice woman on your arm, nice person on your arm. You can have all these outward things. But if you don't love yourself in here, if you don't love who you see staring back at you when you look in the mirror, then you're no good to yourself and you're no good to those around you. So therapy is going well with this new one. I hope that this is my last therapist, at least for the year. I don't, because if I have to change therapists again, I think I might leave whatever the practice is, because I just personally, I think that if you're not able to retain your employees, then there's something going on. But I digress. We're just going to take this and see how it's going. And I think, yeah. So, therapy is good. I would encourage anybody, especially giving in these times. We're going to talk about it a little bit later on in this episode. But really, with everything that's going on in this world and the chaos and the the government shutdown that's still going on, the risk of healthcare running out for millions of Americans, SNAP benefits and programs of assistance ready to run out for millions of Americans. People who are working 9-to-5 jobs or normal jobs are not able to meet their financial needs for their family and their children. And so this is causing a lot of mental health issues. And so you have to be conscious of your mental health, especially in these times. So If you do not have a therapist and you have insurance and you're able to get one, I highly encourage you to do so. Even if it's a rabbi, pastor, preacher, or someone that you can confide in to get things off of your chest, I would highly encourage you to do that. But having said all of that, I think the other thing that we're getting ready to go into is the last week of, probably the last week of October, and Halloween is coming up. I don't know exactly what I'm going to be this year, but I think I am going to a Halloween party, and I haven't been able to go to one in at least 3 years because the past few years I've either been on stage during Halloween that night, or I've been in rehearsal for a show. So it is, I'm excited that I finally can get to go out and experience a Halloween party. I don't know who I'm going to be. It's a toss up between a referee, Spider-Man. There was something else. Referee, Spider-Man, and I don't know. I'm not a vampire or something, but something crazy. So you'll see pictures, on social media after the party. But yeah, so that's what's going on in my neck of the woods. Life is not perfect, but it is okay. And I'm just taking it day by day. And I hope that this episode will leave you feeling inspired no matter what is going on in our lives. We'll be back. And we are back. So, I just gave a little bit of a personal catch up about how life was going on my end. And I wanted you to leave you with the idea that growth doesn't come from being right all the time. It comes from being real. And so as we get into the temperature of our culture, the realest thing to know now is that America's in a state of imbalance, and it seems like just chaos it feels like that we can't do anything. It feels like there's so much going on that you just don't know what to handle first, what to tackle first. And our cancel culture climate and our social kind of polarization have made people afraid to really speak authentically. You have, people being detained by ICE and ICE raids at places like Home Depot or your local places where you would have, how do I say this? People that would have highly Hispanic and Latino crowds or gatherings or people in the workforce. ICE is camping out there or hiding there in unmarked vehicles and unmarked cars and things like that. And so you see footage of families being torn apart, husbands being ripped from wives, children's being ripped from their parents and vice versa, for no other reason than them being Hispanic or seemingly Hispanic in this country. Most people are here legally. Most people have documentation to support that they are here. And so what does that do for American citizens who are here rightfully but are detained by ICE? And then you have things that happen like Chicago, where it's not just Hispanics, but then they're beginning to target African American people. Anytime that you have ICE raids in the middle of the night in Chicago and they are detaining not only brown people but black people, this automatically goes against what was said, the reasoning for this at the top. The reasoning for this was to get rid of the illegal immigrants or illegal aliens who are, here doing illegal drugs and gang violence. Last time I checked, a 70-something-year-old grandmother being woken up in the middle of the night and being detained by ICE. She's not a gangster, I don't believe. And there are some gangster grandmothers out there, but, it just doesn't make sense. The math is not mathing, as they say. So what do we do? Where do we go? What can we do? It may seem like all is lost, but it's not. You have your voice. you're able to speak up, even if it seems like there is an attack on our First Amendment freedoms of speech, freedom of the right to assembly. We have to make it known that we are not going to stand for these types of injustices. Just a few weeks ago, we had the No Kings March all around the country, and I think there was at least a total of 7 million people who marched on that Saturday to say no to our current administration's policies and practices against the people. And so I would encourage everyone to stick to that. Keep showing up for yourself. Keep showing up for your family members. Keep speaking up, but be safe. Again, what they want you to do is to commit acts of violence. And if you commit acts of violence while you're protesting, then that will give them ample freedom to move in and do things by force. And we can't have that. So we have the right to peaceful assembly and peaceful protest, and that is what we must do. And speaking in the realm of politics, we have two important races happening in our country right now. We have in New York, there's the mayoral race. I think we have Zoran Mandani. I believe I'm saying it correctly, but he seems to be leading in the polls where Democrats are concerned. I don't think that his challenger is going to be, I think, Andrew Cuomo. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but if I've been the governor of a place, if I've been the governor of a state, and then I'm removed because of some things that, came out about me, why would I want to run to be a mayor of a city? If I've already been to the top, why would I, not to say that you're better than anyone, but if I'm the governor of New Jersey and my tenure is done or I'm removed, why would I want to go and become the mayor of Cedarville or the mayor of Millville or the mayor of, I don't know, Camden? I'm just, not that there's anything wrong with Camden, I'm just saying. To me, that's backwards. To me, the next step would be, something higher. But I'm not a New Yorker, but I would think that from what I see, I believe that Mandani is going to win. But that also requires you getting out to vote. So if you see this and you're a New Yorker, spread the word, get out there and vote. Do not be intimidated at the polls. Do not be intimidated. And in New Jersey, we have a governor's race. And it seems in New Jersey, there is a race every year, I believe, whether for state or federal. So there's always going to be an election every year in the state of New Jersey. This year it's the gubernatorial race, and we have Jack Ciattarelli, who's on the Republican front runner, versus Mikey Sherrill, I believe. And so the race is going to be close. But I've also found out that this administration is seemingly going to target highly Hispanic populated areas like Passaic County on Election Day. And Election Day is Tuesday, November 4th this year. So to all of us family and friends and people who are Latino and Hispanic and are voting, do not be afraid to go out there and vote. Do not be afraid to exercise your voice if you are here legally. They may try to intimidate you by saying that there may be ICE people out there. New Jersey has policies and practices in place, and we'll have people at the polling places to ensure that you are able to exercise your right to vote exactly, and that your rights are not infringed upon. So just please keep that in mind, that over these next couple of weeks, it is very important that you still are able to use your voice. Use your voice now more than ever. And leading with that, the government has been shut down for longer than it should be. I think it's gearing up to be the longest shutdown in our U.S. history. And so what you should understand is that this administration controls the House, the White House, Congress. Everything is controlled by the Republican. And I'm not saying that the Democrats are always right and Republicans are always right. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that this government shutdown truly rests at the feet of the political party who seems to be majority in power. And when you look at someone like the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who seems to be doing everything he can to not have Congress in session, one reason is because if Congress gets back in session, then he has to swear in the newest Democrat, and she would be the 18th person, the 218th person that signs on for the release of the Epstein files. And so I don't know about you guys, but it seems like this administration has thrown everything in the zeitgeist, in the atmosphere, to distract from these Epstein files. We cannot let up on that. Human trafficking is a very real thing. And the fact that the President of the United States has his name throughout those documents, because we already know that his name is in the documents, should lead you to believe, not saying that he committed something illegal, but at least knew about the things. And so we have to be mindful of not being distracted from what's truly at stake here. And so release the Epstein files, but also November 1st, people who are on government assistance like SNAP, which means food stamps and things like that, they're going to run out. And so this all leads into a cycle of chaos, because if families are unable to feed themselves and feed their children, where are they going to turn? Food pantries are already being stretched because government employees do not have the money coming in. I believe that they, as of Friday, October 24th, federal employees missed their first check. I don't know about you, but I need my money, and people work hard for their money. And this is the fact that they are not getting paid, and they still have to show up to work. So you can't go out and protest because you still have to show up to work and not be paid, which again is just ridiculous, because you also have $20 billion going to farmers of another country, when that money should be going back into the pockets of not only our farmers, but the American people. And so I would urge you to call your congressman, call your Senate, call, and make your voice heard. Let them know that you are not standing for this government shutdown, and really push back on the people who were elected by you to do their job, because the midterms are on their way. And just as sure as they think that they have their jobs, you have the ability to vote them out. And so it is the government for the people, by the people, and of the people. And we are back. So now we're going to kind of unpack some things. And so I want to talk about how the fear of rejection, shame, or public backlash kind of keeps people from expressing themselves and expressing their voices. And this goes for us in our relationships, in work, of course, and in politics. We live in a society right now where it seems that if you are on one side of the aisle or the other, that we are automatically demonized for your political stance and your beliefs. And I feel that has been done deliberately. I think the days of us being bipartisan on most issues, they're not gone, but I think it's harder for us to come together when there's such a high level of disrespecting one another personally. And I think we have to get back to being able to disagree about policy, but not disagree about humanity. And that means if, for example, if I am a person who is against abortion, I'm not a woman. I will never be a woman. So I will never have to go through what it means to have my body at risk for my life being taken from me because of whatever's going on. Having said that, I do support a child's right of life. Now, when it comes to issues of incest and sexual assault and things like that, I believe that a woman has a right to make her decision for her own body. I have no say in that. One, because I do not have a female body, so I don't have to go through whatever she is going to have to go through in those things. Having said that, if I am against abortion, I also have to have the same humanity for the child, should the child be born, and from 0 to 18, I should not have a problem with doing whatever I can to support that child's life. So you can't have one without the other. You can't say that you are anti-abortion, but then block whatever benefits are made available to the mother to raise that child that you said that she should not have aborted. It doesn't make sense like that. And so what you do in your house doesn't necessarily affect my house. And so I have no right to tell you what you can and cannot do in your own house. And so it should be both ways. And it should actually be that way for everyone in these United States. We have the right to freedom of religion, freedom of expression. There's so many freedoms that we are afforded in this country. And it seems as though that we have let this political divide keep us on opposite ends of the spectrum, when if you talk to most Americans, if a child is hungry, if a family is hungry, it doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat or independent. They're hungry people. They're people who deserve food. They're people who deserve clothing. They're the people who deserve shelter. They're the people who deserve human decency and common dignity amongst the people. And so I would urge us to get back to what it means to be civil with one another, learn how to talk to each other, and not be so hardline on our beliefs when it comes to treating people as human beings. I think if we can remember to do that, that will help us draw closer and draw near back to the original thoughts of our forefathers. And we cannot be silent. There should be civil disengagement. It is allowed in our Constitution. It is allowed for us to disagree with the lawmakers. We have a right to disagree. If something that we do not like, we have a right to assemble, to get together, and to march and to make our voices heard that we don't like a particular practice or policy. That is something that's afforded to us that people in many other countries are not afforded. And so here are some tools and some truths that we can, some practical tips. Number one, pause, don't freeze. Take a breath and a beat before responding, not before retreating. Number two, and I think this is really the most important thing, lead with love, not loudness. Firm doesn't have to mean rude. And I think sometimes because of our own day-to-day situations of life, we can kind of be short-tempered with people. But remember to lead with love. Number three, ask, don't assume. Most conflict comes from misleading tone. And if you go back to some of our earlier episodes of Watching What You Say, one of the reasons why I wanted to start this podcast is because I believe that what we say matters. What we speak into the atmosphere manifests. I know I'm a person who is a spiritual person and believes in the Bible and things like that. And one of the scriptures says that life and death are in the power of our tongue, and that we have the ability to speak things into existence because our words carry energy. Our words carry a flow from the atmosphere. And so what you say, you become. What you speak can manifest. And so we have to be mindful about what we are saying, how we are saying it to people. You catch more flies with honey than you do with the other thing. And so your tone matters. I know I've been in situations where I've had to tell someone no, or have to tell someone that they were not able to do something. And depending upon how I phrase it in my tone of voice, determine whether or not it was an argument, or determine whether or not the person said, you know what, okay, you're right, I understand. And so our tone definitely matters in situations. And number 4, practice repair. You say, well, Beau, what do you mean practice repair? Simply, you get it wrong sometimes. I get it wrong sometimes. Actually, probably if I think about it, sometimes we get things wrong more often than we would care to personally admit, especially even if it's publicly. And so when you're able to admit that you're wrong, sometimes it shows that there's growth and not guilt. We want to practice being in a state of repair, that we don't have all the answers, that it is okay to acknowledge when you're wrong, that we don't have it all together. And so, yeah, again, tools and truths for speaking up. And our word to the wise this week is simply, the loudest silence is the one that hides your truth. Think about that. The loudest silence is the one that hides your truth. So I am challenging myself and to all of you who are listeners to speak one truth that they've been holding back, not online, but in person. But since you and I, we're personal, we're friends, right? We have a good relationship. You've been with us for 6 episodes, right? You know, or you're just joining in. But I'm going to be honest. Here's a candid moment. So, growing up in Philadelphia, when I was about, actually, you're going to get 2 truths. So one, for people who don't know, my mother suffers from mental health issues, but is dealing with it. She's fine now, you know, but this has been an ongoing battle for at least 20 something years, right? And so while she was in her early stages of being diagnosed, there were moments where, I'm not going to say that I went hungry, because I don't want to say that, but there were moments where things like snacks and things were not afforded to me at that age. And so what I would do is, because my mother was not in her right state of mind, I was able to get away and go and do things on my own. And so here I was, 7 years old, walking down to the local mini mart ish type store. And what I would do, because sometimes I would be not necessarily hungry, but I wanted a snack. And I can't believe I'm telling this, but I would go in the store and I would steal bags of chips and hugs. And I'm not proud of that at all, but I would probably maybe once or twice a week would go down to the store by myself, sneak away, go down to the store, and I would steal because I wanted something to eat. I wanted food. And the one day I came down there and I started to steal something, and the lady behind the counter said, "Hey, where's your mom?" And I said, "Oh, she's home." He said, Why are you stealing? Why are you stealing from me and your mom have credit? Why are you stealing from me and you have credit? You don't have to steal." And she hit me on the head with the bag of chips. Now that is that is funny that I got beat with the bag of chips, bag of Doritos, and bag of barbecue corn chips. I got hit. But in that moment, I realized a couple things. One, that she was showing me grace and dignity, not only for myself, but for my mother, that she could have easily called the cops on me because I was stealing from her store. And furthermore, she had a rapport with my mother, that so much so that she had given my mother a small line of credit that my mom always paid off. So there was no reason for me to be, one, by myself in Philadelphia going down to that store, and two, there was no reason for me to steal anything. No reason for me to steal anything from that person's business. And so I actually call that kind of a divine interruption, because from that point on, I never stole anything from any stores again. Just, I want to make that known. But, and then the other truth that I will let you know, that same age, from 4 to 7 was a lot for me. I can look back on it now and laugh at some of the stuff, but I almost stole a car. And so we lived on Fern Rock in Philly, if anybody knows where that is, like Champlaw's apartments, whatever. So there was this hill. And so we would walk up the hill, and my mom would take me to school. And it was this parked car. It was like a tan sedan. And the back driver's side window was knocked out, but it had like the trash bag sheet on it. And so my mom would be like, oh, you know what? I think I want to buy a car, blah, 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 blah. I think I want to have a car. And so she would always talk about that car because it was just there. So one day I get the bright idea I'm out playing by myself. So I go all the way up the hill by myself, and I put my hand through the back trash bag of the back door, and I unlock it, and I climb into the driver's seat. And I climb into the driver's seat, and I put my foot on the brake and the gas, and I take it out of park somehow and put it in neutral. I thought I put it in drive, but thank God I put it in neutral. And I started to go down the hill. In my mind, I was like going 100 miles an hour, but it really wasn't. It was literally like 2 to 5 miles an hour. But I went from half of the hill to almost to the corner, and I couldn't figure out how to stop it. And I'm just like, oh my God, Jesus, stop. Oh God, help. I don't know what to do. I'm about to crash this. And it stopped. I hopped out of that car so quick, ran home with my skateboard, never told a soul. So you got 2 truths out of me today. One, where I attempted to steal Doritos and barbecue corn chips, and the other when I tried to steal a car. And so I am not proud of those moments. I'm certainly not glorifying stealing of any kind or being mischievous behavior of any kind, but those are just 2 truths that I'm publicly saying for you today and for this episode. And so honor yourself by, if you can, just tell one truth in person to somebody, and also forgive yourself and ask to be forgiven. Well, folks, we have come to the end of this episode about Speak Up, Not Shut Down. And so I would encourage all of us, all of you who are listening to this or watching this, to remind you that your voice has power. Your voice has strength. Your voice has endurance. Your voice is needed. Your voice is power. And power, unspoken, becomes permission for wrong things to continue. So remember to speak up. Watch What You Say podcast is available now on Spotify. We have episodes 1 through 6 available now for you to listen to. 7 will be up soon. Thank you to everyone who watches on YouTube. Spread the podcast, like, share, comment, subscribe, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your sister, your brother, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your enemies that we got a podcast, that we are talking about some good stuff. And that is not just for my benefit, but it's for our benefit to become better human beings. I believe in getting better 1% every day. So we are on YouTube. We are on Spotify. You can reach me on Instagram at Beaux Emerson. You can reach me on Facebook at Beaux Emerson. And I'm not on X yet. Well, I used to be, but if you type in Beaux Emerson, I'm the only one that exists, that will ever exist in time. And so you can find me everywhere that you type in Beaux Emerson. Also, we have a new segment, and I know I mentioned it before, but we're really doing it. It's called Not My Story to Tell. And so you, the listener, will have an opportunity to send in a letter via email, and not necessarily to give advice, but for you as an opportunity to speak your truth, an opportunity to maybe apologize to someone for doing wrongdoing, or apologize to your old self, or to send a positive note, positive affirmation to someone. Not My Story to Tell is your opportunity for you to speak your voice, for your voice to be heard on this podcast. And so you can send that to beauemerson@gmail.com, and in the subject line put Not My Story to Tell. And who knows, your story, what you have to say, may be the one that's heard on the next episode or future episodes. And I think, is there anything else I'm forgetting? No, guys, just have a blessed week or weeks. We will see you for episode 8 coming soon. Again, know that you are loved, know that your voice is important, and that you have the power to be a better human being. Take it easy, guys.